to Pius Ume, the 2023 UTME top scorer. NLC mobilizes meet with civil society ahead of Wednesday industrial action, and later on the show, ECOWAS orders Niger junta to reinstate House president in 1 week or be forced out as military junta once again sending troops. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Gani Kayode Balogun. If you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for staying with us. Let's begin by celebrating hard work and honesty. Journalist Hangout has redeemed the pledge of 150,000 naira to Kamsi Yochukwu Nkechiyere Ume, the top scorer of the 2023 UTME with 360. This is to support and encourage the 16-year-old Kamsi Chukwu. But before we show you that, let's share the moment Babajide made the promise on the show with you. Girl that had 360 from Deeper Life College, has been rewarded by Professor Soludo.
Yes, and I also want to give a cash donation to her.
Okay.
I will implore her father to get in touch with me.
Okay, so you can DM.
Yes, if the father is watching,
send a DM to him.
I intend to make her happy. So you can send her account details to me. I will just send them.
So
this is our own way,
Facebook.
Through Facebook or even through our office here.
Okay,
I'll drop a message for me. I'm impressed about the comportment of the real winner and the clear evidence of home training, you know, in Ume. This is what we want to see. We have to reward honesty. This girl, I'm prepared to give this girl the sum of 100,000. By God's grace, today, get in touch with me. Even today, I'll make it available. We have to reward excellence. We have to encourage people who work hard. She says she studies for 6 hours every day. And the outcome is there for all to see. The outcome is there. And I know that more rewards will come in for this girl.
To encourage.
Yes, to encourage people and show to our young people that hard work pays.
Honesty.
Hard work and honesty pays. She didn't sit down somewhere to doctor her result. She trusted God, she worked hard, and she got a fine result. So,
now that that promise has been fulfilled, Babajide redeemed the pledge to Kamsi Yochukwu after the program on Sunday. Let's share the moment with you.
at the thick of the controversy generated by the attempt by a Jamb candidate to mislead the rest of Nigeria that he was overall best performer at the UTME, we made a promise to Nigerians that we will promote as best as we can the real most valuable player in that examination. That was the way we described her. And today, we have come to honor our promise because we promised to present her the sum of 100,000 naira. Today, we increased that promise to 150,000 naira. And today, I'm happy, Precious and her mother, as well as other members of our family.
And her dad?
The dad is in the background watching. Precious, congratulations to you on your feet. You have shown that you are a talent that needs to be uncorked slowly. You've been properly brought up and you have made your parents proud. And for that reason, we are rewarding you today with a check of 150,000 naira. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
And you did not forget it, she had 360. The highest.
Yes.
Out of 400.
That's quite remarkable. In fact, in the past, she scored 99 on the subject, and I said, why did she just give her
yes.
100?
Yes. I think about mathematics also. Chemistry, 99.
So, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
We'll be monitoring your progress because we believe that God has only just begun with you.
Amen.
We know you come from a prayerful family. God will continue to elevate you.
Amen.
And make you the best that you want to be.
I really want to appreciate this philanthropic gesture towards me when it comes to Yochuko. I'm so thankful to TVC News for presenting this award to me. I want to appreciate them, and I pray that the Lord will bless you all in Jesus' name.
Amen. So, madam.
Okay. Thank you so much, journalist Hangout. Thank you for your reward. We really appreciate how you're rewarding excellence, and we're believing God that this is just the beginning. Like they say, the sky is just the beginning.
Thank you so much, TVC. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, journalists, for celebrating my daughter. I appreciate. Thank you so much. First, I want to thank God for you for making it up to your promise and even exceeding that. God will bless all of you here.
Amen.
We made a promise to Nigerians that we will reward her, and we have chosen this auspicious day to give her that reward. We won't stop at that. Every young Nigerian who has shown traits of excellence, journalist Hangout will step forward and reward them for excellence. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Jide, we always stand by the truths. We fought for the truths, and when the usurper, that girl was trying to lay claim to 362 ahead of Kamsi, we investigated and we spent like a week, dedicated back-to-back coverage on this. Till we got to the root of the matter, and at the end of the day, we had to bring out Kamsi Chukwu to say there's reward for hard work.
Yes, I had to personally call her dad, because when we announced that we wanted to give her that price of 100,000, I was waiting to see. I actually asked people to get in touch with the family, let them know that this pledge had been made. But when I waited for like 3 days and I didn't hear anything, I said, if in the end we do not give this thing out, give this pledge, give this honor award, people are going to say, oh, they've come again. You know, there are all kinds of people on social media who imagine that everybody's like them. So I had to look for her dad's phone number through Sharon and the Jamb people, So they gave her the number and she passed it on to me, and I called her. But because she was writing her NECO exam, I didn't want to distract her. She had to write NECO, she had to do post UME at Covenant, and then there was a little break. There was a little break yesterday because she's due to also do post UME at Unilag. I think today.
Somebody did it, yes, today.
I think today. So
today between
that little break that we had to invite her to come and personally receive the prize, and it's just something that makes me happy. Someone said if there had not been that scandal involving Mesioma, nobody would have thought of rewarding this.
It's something they just mentioned every
because
year.
people have been winning it every year.
Yes, it's not.
The ordinary folks do not really bother. But because someone tried to steal what did not belong to her, encouraged by some aberrant Nigerians, we just felt, okay,
They try to politicize it.
Yes, ethnicize it. Even up to today, there are still some of them trying to ethnicize it. That is the tragedy that we face in our country, where people, in a country where the ranks of advanced free fraudsters is growing rapidly, you know, you do not expect that some of these things will happen. People will say, no, that's not, it's bad. People are even encouraging their children to go into fraud. It is that bad in our country. But you merely relating with the Ume family, you know that this is a family rooted in the fear of God. You need to listen to the father. He kept telling me, I will not allow this girl to derail. I will monitor her. I will be her true guardian, so that the potential that she has, she'll be able to fulfill it tremendously. And as I told her when she came into my office yesterday, I said, see, I want you to be the best in your class in the university. I want you to score 5.0 because it is possible. So, and she gave me the assurance that she will study chemical engineering, and that she will do her best in university. So I wish her Godspeed.
DKB.
The thing that makes me very happy is that now we are moving in the right direction. Now we are now rewarding the right values. As a nation, we derail so much that we don't celebrate the criminals and the criminal minded, which some people call the end justifies the means. No longer do we follow the process to the letter. In fact, I'm looking forward to the day that we'll invite people like this who score very high in certain courses related to our field to be a guest on our program as part of the reward system. So then you too can be at this level and talk at this level. Because unless we start doing that, my people will say that children don't listen, they watch. And they only do what they see their parents doing. So this is a right step, the right direction.
Well, we also encourage those big companies, multinational corporations and everything, to encourage this girl. It's not for other shows.
Yes, they actually do. I think, and it's one of the reasons that person was trying to cheat. You know, as the best. What Jamb does is every year they come up with the 10 best.
Okay.
So that those big companies, those big corporations, those foundations know who to reward, you know, who to reward at the appropriate time. So I know that. And there are some Nigerians who are saying, look, despite what you have done, we will be ready to contribute even if it's 1,000. I think that's a conversation that we'll have with the family. Maybe they will make an account available where people can show their joy and reward her for the brilliance that she has shown. But a very confident girl, and you will see the evidence of home training, relating with her, and her English is excellent, you know, for a child that young. You know, so I wish her good luck, and as we said to her yesterday, we'll be monitoring her. We want to see the progress that she's going to make in the university.
All right, moving on. Barring last-minute intervention, Nigeria may be plunged into another nationwide strike by Wednesday. The Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, says it is fully prepared for the nationwide strike as all state council and civil society organizations have been mobilized. NLC officials said they have just finished putting finishing touches to effective mobilization for the strike. Jiri, will this return back? Are we going to go back to the pre-subsidy era? Is this the mandate, or this is going to plunge the country into economic quagmire?
Well, I just hope this strike does not take place. It's not every matter that you resolve through industrial action. We saw how ASU went on industrial action for so many months. It was not resolved. It was the students that suffered. In this case, it is the economy that will suffer, and that is why I agree with Senator Ojuzo Kalu, you know, who appeals to people not to the NLC not to go on this strike.
So, he spoke as an employer of labor too.
Yes,
running companies.
I think that labor must realize that, look, those reforms are necessary. Yes, they come with some pains, but as a nation, we have lived a life for too long, and now it's hurting our people. What do they want government to do? To go back to the subsidy era? Is that what they want? If you are talking about palliatives, yes. What are the steps that need to be taken? Government and NLC need to come together and agree on those steps. The steps that will be far-reaching, that will not be for labor alone. As I've said before, labor is just 5% of the Nigerian population. There are other Nigerians who contribute their quota to our nation's well-being, to boosting our gross domestic product as a nation. All those farmers that nobody knows their names, they are just as important as members of the NLC and the TUC. So whatever government is doing to ease this pain must not be limited to labor alone. It must, the ordinary Nigerians must feel it. Otherwise, it is a waste of time. And as I've said before, state governments must get involved in this. We have many people who come to power at state level are clueless. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to even increase the level of revenue generation in their states. They're just simply waiting for the federal government to take all the right steps. You've got to play your part. If the states don't play their part in ensuring that we ease the pain on our people, whatever the federal government is doing will amount to
trickle down.
It will amount to a drop in the ocean. Look at a time like this, it's not just compressed natural gas. We just not conversion of gasoline engines to compressed natural gas engines that we should be looking at. We should be looking at electric cars. And the Rural Electrification Agency should be mandated to assist in building charge stations. You are traveling from here to Ekiti, for example.
Yeah.
Let's have like 3 charge stations along the way.
2 hours later, maybe Ibadan.
Yes, you like if your car is fully charged, for example, or your bus, you can do 200 kilometers.
Yeah, okay.
That's going to Ibadan and getting close to Lagos. To Lagos. You don't have to even wait until you exhaust it.
That would be foolish.
Halfway through your journey, you can charge it, and then you'll be able to bring your passengers back. So, if everyone is thinking about the future, the Americans, they are not thinking about fossil fuel deposit. They are thinking of the future, a future when we will no longer even need crude oil and all that. So, and look at Tesla. Tesla is doing well in terms of the electric cars that they are manufacturing. More and more people are going for it because even the cost of maintaining the electric car is way cheaper than maintaining the alternative, because you buy parts, motor parts, you buy your carburetor will be giving you problems and all that, your engine. But the electric cars, the truth about them is, if you are to change parts, it will likely be what do they call, maybe your shaft and all that. So the problem, the replacements will be needed largely around your wheels, not The problem of engine that you go and buy second-hand engine after using your that one, you don't have it with the electric car. So even for the driver, it is way cheaper to maintain. Government needs to use this opportunity to bring in those vehicles, empower companies to go into this line of business, to invest in this, bring them in, create those charging points. People have said, is it a country that does not have regular electricity that can do it? Of course, that's a question based on ignorance. In a lot of those places where they use these electric cars, it is solar. It is solar that they use for the recharging. That's why I said Rural Electrification Agency that is into alternative energy and all that should be helped. Should be empowered to help construct those charging points, those service centers where people can charge and then they can proceed on their journey. And it's clean. They are not polluting the environment. So these are things that the government should do to show clearly that it is forward thinking. And look, it will be extremely cheap. Transportation will be extremely cheap because we are not using fuel, which is costly. Anything that will help us, because a lot of our people, the pains that they feel is about moving around and feeding. If we crash the cost of transportation, it will affect cost of food and even services. So we should be thinking along that line.
Do you stand to benefit anything from embarking on this industrial action?
Actually, I've been looking at what will be the exit points. Because imagine a scenario where the federal government insists that what is done, and they cannot go back. How will the Labour Congress come back graciously from now? Because what they've done now is put the cart before the horse. They are going on strike first instead of a thing of last resort. And that to me is the danger. Because I wish it's not going to become a place where they trap themselves in a long quagmire with a government that has made up its mind that there is no going back. Especially when it comes to the policy that has to do with this. Number two, we are paying a price for, I don't want to use the word ignorance, because it's obvious that our cities are not planned or modernized in such a way that mass transit can work. And this ought to have been done years ago. I keep telling people, the distance between Lagos and Abuja is about a little bit over 500 kilometers. Maybe 560, I'm not sure. But the moment Abuja was created, there will have been mass. Same thing with Lagos Ibadan. Same thing with Lagos Abeokuta. The same thing with Abuja Kaduna. All our major city centers are not equipped to move our people in such large numbers. I know Lagos State is trying very hard with the new blue line that they are building. But again, in a city state of 25 million people, you need to move at least an hour between 3 to 4 million people every hour in Lagos metropolis. The majority problem of this, where this thing bites most, is between the Lagos-Ibadan, the southwest axis, and the Abuja-Kaduna axis. Areas that control or consume, as it were, about 70% of all the petroleum products that we produce in this country because of the concentration of industries around these particular clusters. We've not solved that problem. So I don't think the strike, to me, I can't see an exit point if the government refuses to budge whatever they are claiming that they want it to do. Then what after that?
Okay, we go for this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. So journalists Hangout.
Home from work, in the busy traffic, your car breaks down. Car horns blast. Your car is pushed aside. You call for help. Phone battery blinks and dies. You take a cab. Few miles, tire bursts. What a day. Frustrated, sweating, and tired. Nearing home, darkness envelops the street. Wow! Just one house is bubbling with life. Brilliant lights, loud music, smiling wife, all welcome you.
we alone have light?
Yes, it's JRB Solar Energy Systems, my anniversary present to us.
No matter how dark life is, the sun is gonna shine on everything you do. JRB solar inverters, batteries, solar panels, solar streetlights and more. Telephone 0906 752 1111. Email sales@jrbsolar.com. JRB, the sun is gonna shine on everything you do.
Be the white card. I'm your big fan too.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, brother.
Me gun myself, I'm a rapper.
Is that so?
Him no, any day, any weather, and I'm chilling with my main guy, Fena.
Alpha, network problem.
Yes, well, got me.
Let me turn on my hotspot.
It have connected.
You hop on 9 mobile confirm data. You can't be out here stranded in this street, so this guy.
When you're on 9 confirm from 9 mobile, you get a super gift of 1,000 naira just for joining the network. 900% bonus on every recharge. 100% data bonus for 6 months and double data bonus on your first recharge of the month.
Get a new SIM or dial *1400# now.
9 Mobile.
Thank you for staying with us. If you're just joining us, this is Journalist Hangout, and we're talking about the proposed strike by the Nigeria Labour Congress, and looking at the pains and gains, and if you are going to have any gain from it at the end of the day.
Well, if they negotiate very well, there will be some concessions that come their way. But the grandstanding that everything should reverse back to where we were is a bridge too far, even for this government. So I think what they need to do is to be more realistic. And while they are telling their members what to expect, also show a level of realism and not give the impression that we can go back to the pre-subsidy days. Those days are gone. Of course, there will be pushback, but we expect that to also be the reality in any system. Their job is to protect the workers. And I agree that workers and other Nigerians are hurting seriously as we speak. My fear is that this will serve more basically as something to just do for the sake of it, than something that was planned to get results. And the results is what the Nigerian masses are waiting for right now.
Julie, don't forget that the level of poverty, the level of hardship, we are feeling it. The thing is biting harder.
Seriously.
People can always progress by going out daily to hustle, to earn their daily living. From Wednesday now, if you are telling us to stockpile food in our houses, to stay at home, from Wednesday.
People who have got money that will stockpile.
That's what I'm saying.
Where's the money?
So the crime rate, you can see the resistance is starting from Adamawa State.
People are pushing back.
And they went to all stores and they were looting. If it's not Governor Fintri that actually declared a curfew, it would have been another thing. So when we start looking at the disadvantages.
Oh, you see, when people loot other people's shops, what do they want to achieve? That's pure criminality.
They're hungry.
There is no level of hardship. No, there's no level of hardship that should push people to steal. No level of hardship. I spoke about what happened when some people decided. You see, people who are minded to steal, they sometimes use this opportunity. You went to custom training school in Abuja. You wanted to loot the place. They said, no, we don't keep contraband vehicles here. All the vehicles you see here are vehicles of custom staff. They came for training. You wanted to loot their laptops. They said no. Then they started scaling the wall and of course, they were gone down. You can't do that. The other day too, they went into NYC camp in Abuja. They wanted to loot mattresses. Now, if you loot those mattresses, perhaps it's your own brother that they will post to Abuja. What do you expect him to sleep with? To sleep on the bare floor? What are you going to loot in NYC secretariat? So there's no, we cannot say because people we can't rationalize criminality, no matter how bad it is. People must realize that, look, this is a phase. Nigerians have been used to enjoying subsidy for so long. There was a time that even
air flights were subsidized in this country. So that pain that comes with coming up with some initiatives meant to help our country, people are not prepared to wait. Okay, look at the convergence of the foreign exchange market. Some people are already dismissing it just because some individuals who operate in the black market are trying to ensure that it doesn't work. But whichever way you look at it, the gap that used to exist between the parallel and the gap that used to exist has been breached. It's been breached. It's not like before when it was 446 and they were selling at 740, even 720, sometimes even less than 600. The gap has been breached between the I and E window and the parallel market. Immediately, our liquidity improves. There will be more forex to sell to those who genuinely need them, and people won't need to be going to the black market, where it's way too costly. Yeah. But our people are not even prepared for that time. When I was reading something that Reuters, there was an article in Reuters that I read. What that writer said was that political pressure may cause government to go back, that in the past, there were efforts made to achieve that convergence. Because there's no country that I know in the world that permits that kind of the disparity. You know? So, but that pressure, if we leave the naira to float, it will cause problem. They didn't do it. Now we have a president who is prepared to do it. What people do not see is the fact that once there is stability in that market, even foreign investments, FDI, will flow in. And once foreign investment flows in, there will be greater liquidity in terms of the foreign exchange. More foreign exchange will be brought in, which will cause people to be able to access the forex that they need.
At affordable rates.
Yes, because there will be more, this thing will come in. And then if we can improve on our oil production, because a situation in which, I remember during Tam David West time, we were even pleading that they should give us more, that they should increase our quota. Now we are in a situation in which they give us quota, we can't even match the what they told us to produce. We are now number 3. So, and if you are in that kind of situation, because oil is your greatest hyena. If you don't produce enough, you don't earn enough forex. If you don't earn enough forex, there will be pressure on the foreign exchange market. The CBN alone at this point cannot provide all that Nigerians need. And part of what you are producing, part of what you generate from crude oil sales, you are also using it to import product. If you check, you will see that the costs of bringing imported fuel into our country is what is consuming our forex the most. But successive governments were unable to do something about it.
So GKB, in the next 48 hours, what's your advice to the Nigerian Labour Congress?
And they should make their position very clear and then make sure that whatever they are looking for are realistic. I'm on that point because a lot of workers are under the impression that this strike will lead to a reversal of the 2 policies. It's not going to happen. The Border is not controlling that narration. And that to me is the fair. Because I've spoken to people today who have told me that once they go on strike, they're only coming back when the price of fuel returns to where it was, or when the forex go back to something. Those are impossible demands. That's my fear. People will go on strike, a lot of people will suffer, and there will be no exit points.
No, you see, the pressure will be on both sides.
I don't government
Pressure
will
will
make
be on both
concessions.
sides.
Yeah.
The problem, you see, the best that government can do is to think of easing the pain.
Seriously.
People who want us to go back to the subsidy era, they are enemies of the Nigerian people. Because this subsidy problem we're paying had created a big fiscal crisis for us, to the point that we are struggling to even meet our obligations as a nation. You are spending about 93%
to service debt.
And it was projected that was even the figures for the previous year. It was predicted that
it was low end.
This year it will go beyond 95%. So how do you continue if what you earn, you simply spend all what you earn to subsidize petrol that a lot of our neighbors? There's a video that we are going to play here one of these days. If you see thousands of jerry cans at a border community,
Cameroon.
The moment the subsidy stopped, those guys, their smuggling came to an end. So what were they expecting us to do? To continue, and then Nigeria will become like Sri Lanka, become like Greece, will become bankrupt?
Venezuela.
I mean, it's not, in any case, a law was passed. Let the people who want us to go back to subsidy era go to the National Assembly and get the National Assembly to reverse itself, because even the PIA, the Petroleum Industry Act, does not permit subsidy regime.
All right, I have to do with that. It's an ongoing matter, crisis, and we hope in the next 48 hours that reason will prevail. For many years, the Economic Community of West Africa States, ECOWAS, was described as a toothless bulldog that can't and not bite. But the regional bloc now wants to back and bite. Head of states and governments of ECOWAS have called on the coup plotters in the Republic of Niger to reinstate President Mohamed Bazoum within 7 days or be forced out by military action. In the communique issued after the emergency extraordinary meeting in Abuja, read by the ECOWAS Press Commission, Omar Traore, leaders rejected any purported resignation by Bazoum and declared him as the only recognized president by ECOWAS, the African Union, and the international community. Let's share the story with you.
Strong sanctions expected to strangulate the government of the coup plotters in Niger Republic have been announced by ECOWAS. The coup in Niger is a setback to recent efforts made by the regional body to strengthen democracy and reject all forms of military takeovers. President Bola Tinubu, as chairperson of ECOWAS, wants member countries to comply with the sanctions imposed and remain resolute until constitutional order is restored in Niger Republic.
Disrupting the democratic order has left the people in a state of uncertainty and vulnerability. I've briefed some of you about the actions that I've taken. I'm prepared to abide by all resolution necessary to respond to this assault and to make sure that our colleague, the President Bazoum, is safe and that democracy is restored in Niger Republic.
The president of the ECOWAS Commission insists Mohamed Bazoum remains the legitimate leader of the landlocked West African country.
Resolve as follows. 1. His Excellency President Mohamed Bazoum remains the legitimate elected president and head of state of the Republic of Niger, recognized by ECOWAS, the African Union, and the international community. 2. Condemn in the strongest terms the attempted overthrow of constitutional order in Niger and the illegal detention of His Excellency President Mohamed Bazoum, President and Head of State of Niger, as well as members of his family and government. Call for the immediate release and reinstatement of President Mohamed Bazoum as President and Head of State of the Republic of Niger. In the event the authorities' demands are not met within 1 week, take all measures necessary to restore constitutional order in the Republic of Niger. Such measures may include the use of force.
There are fresh hopes that the regional body will find its teeth and bite. Femi Akonde, TVC News, Abuja.
Can we, at this time, the crisis in the Niger Republic, and Nigeria is not the Nigerian president is not the president of the chairman of ECOWAS. Can we afford the use of force in the Niger Republic?
We can afford, but is it desirable? That is the point, because I read somebody who said Niger is so big as a country. It's so big, but it's not everywhere that is inhabited by human beings. It's just like Chad. Chad is very big too. Mauritania is very big. All those countries are bigger than Nigeria in size. But can they confront Nigeria in a war? A lot of those places are full of deserts, nobody inhabiting them, you know. Niger is just like one of those countries, you know. I doubt if the GDP of Niger is bigger than the GDP of 2 Nigerian northern states, even their population.
Let's talk about Lagos.
Yes, no. Lagos is in a class of its own. You know, Lagos is now is a country that in terms of population, Lagos is inching nearer even Ghana. At the rate Lagos is going, Lagos will eventually overtake Ghana in terms of its population. You know, so and already it's already a sub-regional economic power. That's Lagos. I think that these African leaders, these West African leaders, are worried about the fact that there are 16 countries in the continent, and
in the last 2 years,
few years, we've had six coup d'etats. I mean, you should be worried.
Something is wrong.
You should be really worried. Anybody should be worried. Guinea, for example, where Asiwaju, best friend among African leaders, was Condé, the president of Guinea. He was removed in a coup d'etat and paraded through the streets. You know? Then you had Mali. Before our eyes, Burkina Faso. Yeah. Then Chad had always been a military, always been under military rule. They killed the president and his son took over. What everyone thought would happen was a short transition. That promise was made. That would be a short transition to civilian rule. We've been waiting since the death of Idris Deby. No transition to civilian rule has happened. This is the promise they always make, to fend off attacks, harassment by other
sanctions.
Yeah. So what we've seen is increasingly these soldiers are interested in political power, and when they see the slightest opportunity, they want to grab it. So now you see Sudan, the crisis happening in Sudan, a big country, strong militarily, but a lot of the weapons fell into the wrong hands. Now, those paramilitary guys are now fighting the entrenched military.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is what is happening. So six states out of 16, and all of these states, if these things continue, it will get bad for everyone. I don't think that security, because the junta leader in Niger has cited security and all that. In these countries where these guys have taken power, what have they done to improve security? Mali, everyone knows that Mali is now a hotbed for Islamic State and the rest of them. They've lost control.
Yeah, they've lost
control. The failure of government. The failure of government is evident. Burkina Faso, the same thing. The terrorists are largely in charge. They are roaming. They are running rampant, and through them, weapons are coming into Chad, and from Chad coming into Nigeria.
Yeah.
A lot of them NATO-grade weapons.
Yes.
So we are not even. It's not good for us that we have such a situation
very close to us
on our hand. And some of the people who are calling for some are even saying that what has happened in that the conditions in Niger were not different from Nigeria. Niger, as I've always said on this program, is a failed state where you cannot even say who is in charge here. People don't know what they are talking about. Niger has been a failed state, and I've been calling it a failed state at least since 2017. So it's not as if, these problems just began, or that with military taking over, the problems will just evaporate. No. So people should stop deceiving themselves. Be careful what you ask for. We can't ask for military rule in Nigeria at this time, except one is suffering from insanity. Those who witness military rule, they know the people that they lost. Some of us lost our good friends. So we don't want to go back. The people asking for military rule, some of them were not born at the time I'm talking about. Or they were in their diapers and did not know their left from their right. You know? So they can talk about, they can fantasize about a utopia situation. No, they don't want military rule.
GKB, when you look at this situation now, ultimatum of 1 week has been given. One. Number two, we have this kind of influence around these ECOWAS states.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have even cited that, look, it might even be this remnant of the Wagner group influence coming across to this West African sub-region, and where we might have a problem down our neck if we embark on a military action.
Well, we've always had problems in the Sahel. And most of our northern neighbors are hotbeds the last 20 years. And one of the reasons, of course, is the fact that since the fall of Gaddafi, a lot of loose arms are available all over the West African sub-region. And with military government in Mali and some other states, this, of course, is bound to happen more. Personally, I think this is a failure of democracy in the subcontinent. Because you remember that 25 years ago, all the rage was about return to democracy across this part of the world. And a lot of people just assume, like Kide said now, that this will translate to utopian tendencies, that this will just become better. But 25 years later, the problems that were inherited were either still there, stagnating, or even getting worse. So a lot of people just see power as an avenue for personal aggrandizement, not for the good of the state. And Nigeria, of course, is in a catch-22 situation. We cannot allow things like this to happen so close to us. Yet, we do not have the resources to embark on full-fledged military might. Of course, we are. Of course, we are the power of ECOMOG. So what we need to do now, which of course I'm very happy, because I don't know what the president will say at 7. But two things I see. One is the fact that they are not waiting for 7 days to impose sanctions. They've imposed sanctions. They imposed no-fly zone. So what they are trying to do basically is use the 7 days as a negotiating bait to ensure that these people complied, not by giving them room to wiggle out of. The danger, as we know, is that with a lot of non-state actors available for hire across the Sahel, this may turn out to be bigger than we are looking at the present. So what I expect to happen in my little experience in diplomacy is that while we are using the stick, ECOMOG or ECOWAS will continue to also look for a carrot.
And put pressure on you.
To put pressure on them to bring back the reality.
I think
ultimately, when you
if you
look at
remember
what
President Buhari was in a situation like this with Jamb.
Yes,
Jamb, yes, he lost an election and he didn't want to leave. So, and ECOWAS said, look, you've lost an election, leave.
No.
He wouldn't listen. They tried to talk to him, he refused. So Nigeria sent his air assets.
I think we also sent
including the Alpha jet. You know, if you send the Alpha jet takeoff, it's an old plane, probably the oldest on the Air Force fleet now, you know, because it's been decommissioned even elsewhere.
In some countries, yeah.
The noise is deafening. So they sent them to the place. They were flying low over the presidential palace. By himself, he picked the phone and called our president. He said, I'm ready for talks. And they said, look, no problem. Since you are ready for talks, we will...
Not even our worship.
No, it's that noise. Especially when it's flying low. Tukano does not even have that kind of noise.
Psychological.
So that was meant to just break him. The guy. Yeah, so he said he was ready for talks. They said, okay, we will guarantee a smooth passage for you. You can take some of your things from the palace. There will be no any problem. And I understand that it was actually a private jet from Nigeria that was used to evacuate his things, and then
and he left the country.
He just left his country, and we were saved the problem that would have occurred
in that place.
So it's possible to intimidate these military guys and for them to be truly frightened. So I don't think anyone envisages a full-blown military action. Those guys, they can frighten them and they will say, okay.
Okay. All right. GKB. Thank you for your contribution.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you for always being there. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this program tonight at 11 p.m. Join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Ozuba. See you tomorrow.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
Do you spend the night trying to get comfortable? Your knees rub bone on bone. Your back and hips ache. You wake up in pain? Not anymore. ShopX TV is proud to introduce the Contour Legacy Pillow, the patented, ergonomically designed tapered leg pillow that naturally fits the contours of your legs, knees and thighs to help align your spine and alleviate pain. Watch, when you sleep on your side, your leg falls forward, twisting your pelvis and lower back, putting pressure on your spine, hip and sciatic. But the Contour Legacy Pillow cushions your knees and cradles your legs, relieving stress on joints while restoring your lower back alignment. Sleeping on your side, your leg comes over and puts you out of alignment, causing lower back pain, hip pain, even knee pain. By using the Contour Legacy Pillow, it restores the natural alignment of the spine, helping to alleviate pain and pressure, leading to much more restful sleep. Old-fashioned leg pillows are bulky, but the anatomical design of the Legacy Pillow fits perfectly the shape of your body the way nature intended. You can even use two together for full leg alignment. Legacy Pillow is exclusively ventilated, so it always stays cool and dry. With top crescent design, it cuddles up to you perfectly and easily moves with you. Ordinary pillows go flat, but the Legacy Pillow is made up of soft memory foam, so it never loses its shape and the cover is machine washable. The Contour Legacy Pillow is now available in Nigeria, exclusively from ShopX TV. You could be paying up to 500,000 naira for an orthopedic bed that doesn't properly support your spine. But call the number on your screen now and get 2 Legacy leg pillows for just 69,900 naira and get relief from back and hip issues. But wait! If you call now, we'll upgrade you to the Contour Better Sleep Collection. The collection comes with 2 Contour Legacy leg pillows and 2 Contour Cool Gel head pillows at no extra charge. The Contour Cool Gel head pillows' soothing orthopedic support will cradle your head and neck for full alignment. while keeping you cool all through the night for the best sleep of your life. Incredible! That's 2 Contour Legacy pillows and 2 cool gel head pillows for just 69,900 naira. And that's not all. Place your order now and we'll also deliver your Contour Better Sleep collection with no shipping charge. But hurry! This is an exclusive ShopX TV offer and only available for a limited period. So, call now while stock lasts. Your rest is your wealth.
The proceeding was a paid presentation brought to you by ShopX TV.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Till 27th of May, while I was living 27th of May, Mr. Senate President, I was commissioning, I was flagging off a project. This thing can be achieved if you are committed, if you have passion for the job. There are so many people who want to be minister, who want to be governor, for the sake that I was a governor, for the sake that I was a minister. But there are those who say, look, what do I want to offer? Am I committed to this job? And I thank Mr. President for nominating me. I believe, knowing how hungry Mr. President is to solving the problems of Nigeria, we have no choice but to give him that required support. And I can assure you, if I'm confirmed, in whatever capacity, Mr. President will not regret nominating me. Thank you, and God bless you.
Well, it's 63 days of President Bola Tinubu's administration and the Senate has commenced screening of his ministerial nominees. Wike, Badaru, Kiyari, Betta Edu and many others have now been screened by the Red Chamber. The screening has witnessed moments of controversies over the timeline in the educational qualification of a nominee, subsisting court cases against a nominee, some instances of take a bow and go for former lawmakers, as well as some moments of frank questions. We want to know what you think about the ongoing screening of ministerial nominees at the Senate. Share your thoughts on Twitter right now using the hashtag #first100days, tag at TVC News NG and at Nifemi Oguntoye. Thanks for joining us on the program. President Tinubu is now set to address the nation. That's where we're beginning from tonight in the nation's capital, where in the next 1 hour, the president is expected to address Nigerians. That's according to a special advisor on special duties, communications and strategy. The president is widely expected to address the outcry of Nigerians aftermath the removal of fuel subsidy and share federal government's intervention plan following the widely reported organized labor's nationwide protest expected to begin on Wednesday. Also earlier today, President Tinubu officially decorated the newly appointed service chiefs with their new ranks, and this pivotal event formally marks the beginning of their tenure as the nation's topmost defense officers. The ceremony, which held inside the council chambers of the presidential villa, was witnessed by the Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, top government officials, as well as family members of the officers. The service chiefs, whose appointments were initially declared on the 19th of June, have been screened by the National Assembly, and having successfully completed this legislative scrutiny, they now take up their roles as the chief architects of Nigeria's defense and security strategies. State House correspondent Femi Akonde has been following that particular development. He joins me live from the presidential villa. Femi, the service chiefs were officially decorated today at the State House. No doubt they now have their work cut out for them, right?
Yes, indeed, Nifemi. They have been decorated. It's now for them to go out and execute Mr. President's charge to secure the country, to secure lives and property, to tackle all emerging security threats, and also ensure that their strategy continues to evolve. Their strategy to tackle the security challenges remains dynamic and in tandem with the changing conventions in security globally. Well, Nifemi, you know, the president also asked these service chiefs to work together to improve in their synergy, especially among the security agencies. He says in recent past there has been quite an improvement in the security situation in the country. Mr. President said this is particularly because of the steadfastness, commitment and dedication of the service chiefs. He thanked them for their service to the country, thanked their families for tolerating the service chiefs, for allowing them also contribute to the country, contribute to protecting the country, defending its territorial integrity. And he says that, well, whatever these security agencies need to keep the country safe, he as president and commander-in-chief will provide, because you recall that in his inaugural speech he says security will be a priority of his administration, and the service chiefs on their part pledged 100% loyalty to their commander-in-chief. Nifemi.
The president is set to address the nation at 7. Perhaps the last time we heard from him in a nationwide broadcast was on Democracy Day. Expectations are in top gear as to federal government's intervention after the removal of fuel subsidy. Talk to us about what to expect in this speech.
We believe the president will be explaining to Nigerians the intention behind most of the policies his administration has introduced since he assumed office on the 29th of May, especially the removal of fuel subsidy. We have seen how this has disrupted the national life. Different sectors of the country have been affected by just the impact of the removal of petrol subsidy. We know that palliatives have already been rolled out through the National Economic Council, mandating state governments to drive the process. That is ongoing. But we also believe that President Bola Tinubu will want to at least touch base with Nigerians, the people that elected him. He owes Nigerians that, to at least always communicate government plans and policies, talk to Nigerians, feel their pulse, and in some cases also react to some of the things, the demands that Nigerians are making. The biggest thing for this administration is the removal of petrol subsidy and how they would ensure that they reduce the hardship it has caused for so many Nigerians. So all is work in progress. We'll wait until 7 p.m. to see what President Bola Tinubu will say and also point the country in the direction it will take moving forward. Nifemi.
You covered the ECOWAS extraordinary meeting in Abuja yesterday and the resolutions on the coup d'etat situation in Niger. What do you think the community is doing differently under the Tinubu chairmanship? Because just last year there was another coup in Burkina Faso and nothing has changed despite ECOWAS's strong condemnation of it.
Well, if I'm under President Bola Tinubu's leadership of ECOWAS, we are seeing stiffer sanctions imposed on countries who are experiencing military takeovers, with the latest being Niger Republic. And of course, that is the first under the leadership of President Bola Tinubu. You know, he had already said earlier that ECOWAS should be resolute. ECOWAS should no longer lay back. ECOWAS should develop and become like a dog that not only barks but bites. And we are beginning to see the manifestation of that under his leadership. The sanctions imposed on Niger Republic are very tough sanctions. We expect that in the coming weeks, this sanction will, in the coming days, this sanction will also pile pressure on the military governments in Niger Republic and force them to open their doors to talk to ECOWAS, to President Bola Tinubu, to also negotiate. But what President Bola Tinubu is saying is that, well, for ECOWAS stance is that democratic governance must be restored in Niger Republic, and also the democratically elected president who will be the only one recognized by ECOWAS, that's Mohamed Bazoum, should be released with immediate effect. He is also putting on the table an option of the use of force, a military option, if that ultimatum given by ECOWAS expires and the military government in Niger Republic, the coup plotters in Niger Republic, are still hanging on to power, then ECOWAS will be left with no other option than to use force. We do not know how they intend to do that, if they will put boots on the ground, or what strategy they will take to enforce that use of force that will push out the coup plotters. That we do not know. We hear that they are keeping that under wraps. That is a security and military strategy, but that is on the table, and other options are being explored also by ECOWAS under the leadership of President Bola Tinubu. Nifemi.
Absolutely. There are also other resolutions that engage in imposing no-flight zone on Niger and ordering relevant authorities to freeze ordering financial institutions to freeze the assets of Niger in other countries. Nigerians are concerned about the extent of involvement of Nigeria as it plays the big brother role in the sub-region, particularly when you also pay attention to the economic crisis back at home, Femi.
Well, Nigeria is a very big financier of ECOWAS. Nigeria is the biggest economy also in ECOWAS and indeed in Africa. So Nigeria always has to be at the front, lead from the front, play that big brother role. And well, Nigeria is also particularly concerned about the impact of instability, political instability in Niger Republic, because Nigeria shares borders with Niger Republic on the northwest fringes of the country, and they are concerned about the influx of refugees, people fleeing the hardship or conflict or fleeing the situation in Niger Republic would naturally move down to Nigeria. Already in Nigeria we have a growing number of refugees and of people coming in from Niger Republic. A lot of them are undocumented, and you know Nigeria is also grappling with its own security challenges. So whatever happens in Niger will have a ripple effect in Nigeria, and that is why Nigeria has to really play that lead role, lead from the front, show that big brother role this time around in ECOWAS. President Bola Tinubu understands all of that, and that is why he is talking tough. Nifemi.
American State House correspondent live for us at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Now, the Nigeria Labour Congress seems adamant on the planned protest on Wednesday as the pressure group is calling on the federal government to address the issue of subsidy removal. The Senate has issued an urgent plea requesting that the Labour Union reconsiders its planned action. Addressing the situation, the Senate expressed that while the legislative body respects NLC's right to protest, it's crucial to weigh this against the potential fallout that could greatly affect citizens' daily lives and livelihoods. Well, will the NLC still go on strike, or rather go on its protest despite the address by the president to come on air by 7 p.m. today, particularly as he addresses issues of palliatives? That's the big question we're asking right now. National Chairman Campaign for Democratic and Workers' Rights, Comrade Rufus Olusegun, joins me on the program. Comrade, thank you for your time. Organized Labour walked out on the meeting with the federal government last Friday. According to them, government isn't ready. What do you make of the engagement between government and workers under this administration?
It's my pleasure to be here this evening. And I think this regime, this government welcome the Nigerian population, both the working class and the poor, with orientals of attacks, particularly in the day where the president was sworn in. People expected a lot of jubilation, and of course, that the previous government of 8 years led by General Buhari has unleashed serious havoc on the working masses, with a view that with the new government coming in place, Nigeria will be better off. That was on 29th of May. It was the same day the president without any ambiguous, announced the subsidy removal. And you all know that Nigeria, we practice what they call mono economy. We only have one common product, which is oil, that cuts across other facets of life. For just a few minutes of his address, to have told the whole nation that subsidy on fuel has gone. You know what the meaning. You know the meaning. Let me say this: we at the Campaign for Democratic and Workers' Rights welcome and support the Niger Labour Congress protest slated for Wednesday, 2nd of 2023.
I hear you, Comrade Rufus. But talk to us about, as a union leader yourself, what are your expectations, as the president addresses the nation in a few minutes from now?
Please, you see, you can't talk about expectations without understanding the rudiment of what is on the ground. Because if you are looking at the expectation of this present government, you are guessing. And you cannot guess in isolation. And of course, it is clearly clear that the so-called palliative cannot sustain our problem. Inevitable. When you are talking about 12 million people will take 8,000 naira for 6 months, you ask me, how do you determine that 12 million people? And of course, how do you arrive at 8,000 naira to take care of enormous issues as the issue of subsidy removal has already damaged within the context of economy? Don't forget, it is the same system. Within a short period, there has been hike in school fees, hike in electricity tariff, and of course, other social amenities of life. Party cannot run because the percentage of people is very low, and of course, the living condition of the working masses have totally gone down.
Comrade Rufus, you seem to be stating the very obvious about what Nigerians are going through. I would like us to focus on what to do differently. For instance, the Senate has expressed concern about the economic implication of the nationwide protest, how it will affect, the daily lives and livelihoods of Nigerians. Not to talk about Downing tools, for instance. What do we do right now? How should unions, address this matter without making life more difficult for Nigerians?
Well, the first thing is that, don't forget, there was a committee set up by government to see how essentially government can parley with labor. And of course, the last meeting, government representatives didn't come to that meeting. It shows clearly government is not serious to see this problem and end to this legal crisis. And of course, as it's well now, the first thing is that government have to reverse that subsidy removal. Because we cannot, even in America, people do subsidize some of their products, some of their utilities, social amenities for people to survive. So governments must not, that government must resist that decision of saying that subsidy removal has gone. 2, the school government must invest in education. In the lab wire, according to the WHO, 30% of Nigerian children are out of school as at last year. With this situation, government must invest in education. Where government is saying that they don't have business in education, they don't have business in governance, it cannot help the situation. So the first thing government must do is to that palliative. It is not the masses that cause the problem. So in the first instance, government must rescind that decision that subsidy is gone. Secondly, government must invest in education. Thirdly, the issue of privatization of electricity tariff, government must reserve it. And all this by right torrent of attacks on the working masses. Don't forget, people have low salary income, and of course, there is low purchasing power now. Government must invest and stabilize the economy. The issue of this exchange rate that have gone up must come down, which means government must invest in industrialization, which government presently they don't care about.
I hear you, comrade. I agree with you to the extent of education, but when you talk about reversing the removal of fuel subsidy, I'm sure you're aware that the subsidy regime ended with the Petroleum Industry Act, which became law last year. But that's our time, and I want to say a big thank you for joining us in this conversation. National Chairman, Campaign for Democratic and Workers' Rights, Comrade Rufus Olusegun. Now let's take you to Adamawa State, where some hoodlums attacked the NEMA warehouse in Yola, carting away goods and property as state government declares curfew to forestall breakdown of law and order. Let's find out updates in that part of the country. Head of operations of the National Emergency Management Agency Yola office, Ladan Ayuba, joins me live on the program. Thank you for joining us. What have you found out from preliminary investigations to be the cause of this attack?
I want to thank you for the opportunity given to me to express not only my own view, but the view of the people in humanitarian affairs. That is,
go ahead, Mr. Ayuba.
What actually happened was pure looting, because if people feel they are hungry, you don't have to carry dagger, you don't have to carry hammer, you don't have to carry cutlass. You want food. And not only that, if actually food is their problem, why is it that after cutting away with the food, they still go ahead and destroy the building, destroying the furniture, the furniture's equipment in that office? So it's the activities of the hoodlums.
All right.
These bad guys do not wish us well.
So you're saying that this is more of a criminal act than an economic situation. I just wanted to talk to us about how NEMA has been able to engage with the people prior to this attack, because some are saying, hope this is not an indictment on the agency's performance and its ability to be proactive when needed.
No, NEMA has done its best. Before this incident, we had a security report, and we zoomed into action, made with the appropriate agencies, security agencies. Then informed them that most likely, because it's rumor, that these bad guys, they might attack not only NEMA, because it's not only NEMA alone. We have SEMAS, we have other agencies that have warehouses around that area. So it's just that yesterday, there was a plan. They already perfected their plans. And at the end of the day, they executed that plan, because they discovered that the level of the security in that place, actually we built up security in that place. But as for yesterday, the population, the number of people that looted the items, there were more than 2,000-3,000. So, and you know, even with the military or the security agencies, they have to observe the rule of engagement. They cannot shoot. And that gives them privilege and leverage.
Hold on, Mr. Ayuba. Did you say the people that looted the NEMA office were up to 3,000?
There are many, yes.
So they're not probably, are you saying all of them all together? Because what was reported was that they were a criminal gang. Are you saying there's a criminal gang in Yola that has up to 3,000 members?
Well, you know, it's possible some people must have joined, because if there's any eventuality, if there's anything that will happen, they have the ringleaders. So possibly because the state is battling with bad boys here called Sheila Boys. Because when I went there, I saw the heavy, with so many equipment, so many weapons. I said, what is it all about? There were many, and in fact, we could not contain them because there was nothing we could do. Even they overwhelmed the security. And you know, because some of them enter the premises through the fence, that's the back part of the warehouses. Because it's not only one warehouse. There are warehouses, there are many. There are about 4 altogether, including our own office. So there were many.
So let's talk about what the current...
It's a criminal act.
I hear you, Mr. Ayuba. What's the current situation now with the 24-hour curfew? What's the current security situation around the NEMA facility in Yola, and how soon is the agency expected to resume its operation?
Today, His Excellency, the Executive Governor of the state, came to see things by himself, that is on the spot assessment. We took him round, and he promised to review the curfew as normalcy, as they are observing the level of compliance. So we are hoping, because today, we wake up today, the curfew is from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. We are allowed to move around. But from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning, everybody should be indoor. So the way I look at it, I think there's a great improvement. And it's a very good thing that the governor did, because it's not only NEMA's warehouse alone. Even individuals or private warehouses, they were looting. They started looting. They entered the market. So as a result of that curfew, that is what contained them, and they were able to salvage the situation. Right. As it is now, in Yola, the atmosphere is calm, and people are busy going about their businesses.
Head of Operations, NEMA Yola Office, Ladan Ayuba, thank you for talking to us on the program. And that's our program today. You can watch a repeat broadcast at midnight and at 6 a.m. tomorrow. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. I'm back at the top of the hour with more. Stay with us.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
Do you spend the night trying to get comfortable? Your knees rub bone on bone. Your back and hips ache. You wake up in pain? Not anymore. ShopX TV is proud to introduce the Contour Legacy Pillow, the patented, ergonomically designed tapered leg pillow that naturally fits the contours of your legs, knees and thighs to help align your spine and alleviate pain. Watch, when you sleep on your side, your leg falls forward, twisting your pelvis and lower back, putting pressure on your spine, hip and sciatic. But the Contour Legacy Pillow cushions your knees and cradles your legs, relieving stress on joints while restoring your lower back alignment. Sleeping on your side, your leg comes over and puts you out of alignment, causing lower back pain, hip pain, even knee pain. By using the Contour Legacy Pillow, it restores the natural alignment of the spine, helping to alleviate pain and pressure, leading to much more restful sleep. Old-fashioned leg pillows are bulky, but the anatomical design of the Legacy Pillow fits perfectly the shape of your body the way nature intended. You can even use two together for full leg alignment. Legacy Pillow is exclusively ventilated, so it always stays cool and dry. With top crescent design, it cuddles up to you perfectly and easily moves with you. Ordinary pillows go flat, but the Legacy Pillow is made up of soft memory foam, so it never loses its shape, and the cover is machine washable. The Contour Legacy Pillow is now available in Nigeria, exclusively from ShopX TV. You could be paying up to 500,000 naira for an orthopedic bed that doesn't properly support your spine. But call the number on your screen now and get 2 Legacy leg pillows for just 69,900 naira and get relief from back and hip issues. But wait! If you call now, we'll upgrade you to the Contour Better Sleep Collection. The collection comes with 2 Contour Legacy leg pillows and 2 Contour Cool Gel head pillows at no extra charge. The Contour Cool Gel head pillows' soothing orthopedic support will cradle your head and neck for full alignment, while keeping you cool all through the night for the best sleep of your life. Incredible! That's 2 Contour Legacy pillows and 2 Cool Gel head pillows for just 69,900 naira. And that's not all. Place your order now and we'll also deliver your Contour Better Sleep collection with no shipping charge. But hurry! This is an exclusive ShopX TV offer and only available for a limited period. So, call now while stock lasts. Your rest is your wealth.
The proceeding was a paid presentation brought to you by ShopX TV.
Join me, Precious Amayo, as I bring you news from the epicenter, where it happens and when it happens, staying on top of every breaking story, minute by minute, right at the hour where the city gets busy and just before it sleeps. We're live from every angle with objective insight and analysis. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Never miss a moment. Instant breaking news from all over the globe. Live streaming of your favorite programs delivered directly to you. Watch anytime from anywhere on your mobile or smart devices. Download the TVC News app today. Available on Google Play and Apple Store.
NAFDAC and Your Health is back as usual to give you information on the activities of NAFDAC, the agency that is saddled with the responsibility of safeguarding your health and also educates you on how to sustain your well-being by patronizing only wholesome food products, drugs, cosmetics, and medical equipment. My name is Amanda Ugo and I am your host.
Today on the show, the spotlight beams on how transparency, prudence, and war against transactional corruption has been engendered in NAFDAC since Professor Mojisola Adeyeye came on board as the Director General, and the integrity of the agency as a transparent body became restored. This will dovetail into highlights from the recent induction of the NAFDAC Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit, a step to further suppress transactional corruption in NAFDAC. In the second segment, the continued efforts of the officials of the Special Task Force of the Investigation and Enforcement Unit of NAFDAC to get peddlers of fake and unregistered drugs off the streets of the Federal Capital Territory will be the focus. This is with a view to showing that NAFDAC remains unrelenting in its war against unwholesome drugs. Part of the unique characteristics that NAFDAC has imbibed and developed to an appreciable extent under the leadership of Professor Mojisola Adeyeye are transparency and integrity. Tracing the journey of the agency from the period prior to the assumption of office of Professor Adeyeye and the steps the DG has taken to rid the agency of corruption and lack of transparency, one would agree that Professor Adeyeye has indeed written the name of NAFDAC in gold, especially by entrenching responsible financial management and staff discipline.
We've been very prudent with our spending. And we have seen the result. I care for our workforce, our staff, but I also want a disciplined staff, workforce. And our staff have been so cooperative and we have improved greatly in terms of the money that we get from our clients and saving them, not just getting the money, and saving them, because we know that we have to use the money that the clients are giving us judiciously. For example, for infrastructure, one of our infrastructure is vehicles. Prior to 2018, many times staff will be going for inspection and the companies will send vehicles. That is anathema. It shouldn't happen in a regulatory agency because there is a tendency to want to return favor for that company that sends you vehicle, and that is weakening the regulatory system. Therefore, one of our priorities in terms of infrastructure is getting vehicles. In terms of acquisition of vehicles, each state should have at least 3 vehicles. We have about 6 border posts, one for each border post. Then we have the ports. So if you have two for each port, you are talking of over 150 or over 120 vehicles for NAFDAC. Before I joined NAFDAC, I think the newest vehicles were purchased in 2014. Newest, and there were few. Most of them were purchased in 2008. And when you go to different places with the roads, the way the roads are, the vehicles, get worn out. So we hardly had a state with one good vehicle. So we have to put money aside from our user fees to get vehicles for our staff. And we've been able to, because that is the way to safeguard the nation's health. Because if some people are making bad medicines or hawking around, you're not going to go on Okada to start running after them. You've got to use vehicles. So about 60% of our activities are field work. So vehicles is a huge infrastructure for NAFDAC. And it is because of the fact that we have been very prudent in terms of saving the user fees and setting them aside for such.
As the Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, continues to steer the affairs of the regulatory agency, machineries are being put in place to ensure that the firm footing so far gained by NAFDAC in the area of anti-corruption, prudence and transparency are continually consolidated. A recent initiative aimed at advancing this course was the induction of the NAFDAC Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit. With this, transactional corruption will also be completely eradicated in NAFDAC. The NAFDAC Director General was represented at the event by the agency's Director of Port Inspection, Professor Samson Adebayo.
The desire of the DG's administration to have a corruption-free agency by keeping at bay all forms of transactional corruption. I concluded that there couldn't have been a better time to inaugurate a new active team in NAFDAC. The Director General is a woman who is passionate about all activities and loves doing things within the ambit of law. So she takes it as a serious thing that the right thing must be done. Since the executives of Act 2 supposed to be tailored, that led to the need to inaugurate a new set of executives. These officers were painstakingly selected and screened to carry out this important task, and so are poised to give their very best in carrying out their mandate for the good of the agency and the betterment of our country, Nigeria at large. I hereby heartily welcome you and your team to carry out this very important function And we promise and pledge that we will never leave any stone unturned in terms of when there are issues of concern, when there are issues that can compromise or that can result into what we call transactional corruption. The voice you heard is the voice of Samson, but the message is the message of Professor Christiana Moji Adeyeye.
Also present were the representative of the chairman, Independent Corrupt Practices Commission, Mr. Abu Lawrence, and other officers of ICPC.
Our sincere appreciation goes to the Director General, Management and staff of NAFDAC for facilitating the formal inauguration and induction of the newly reconstituted Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit of NAFDAC. This event has added impetus to efforts of the ICPC in promoting and entrenching values of integrity, accountability, and transparency in government establishments. The creation of ACTO in NBAs was initiated by the ICPC in collaboration with the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation and approved by the Federal Executive Council in 2001 to serve as an in-house check mechanism in NBAs against corrupt and unethical practices. This agency, NAFDAC, mandated to regulate and ensure the availability of quality and safe food and drug for Nigeria, has a duty to ensure that its processes are devoid of corrupt practices and its workforce carry out their duties diligently, responsibly, and accountable. The ACTO is therefore a veritable tool in entrenching these core values.
The members of the NAFDAC Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit took the oath of allegiance, pledging to uphold NAFDAC's anti-corruption drive.
I do solemnly swear or affirm that as a member of the Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit of NAFDAC will display high levels of personal integrity and accountability in all my undertakings, that I will to the best of my ability take necessary lawful steps to curb corrupt practices and mobilize others to join the crusade against corruption. So help me God. Thank you very much and congratulations.
The chairman, ICP, ably represented by Mr. Abu Lawrence. Dignitaries from ICPC, distinguished directors and deputy directors, newly inaugurated members of ACTU, ladies and gentlemen. With gratitude to God Almighty and deep appreciation to our amiable Director General, Professor Mojisola Christiana Adeyeye. I count it a big honor and privilege to be officially inaugurated as the chairman, NAFDAC ACTU, alongside the team. I also thank the management of ICPC for the opportunity given to us to work with the Commission in fulfilling the mandate. You may wish to know that the vision of NAFDAC is safeguarding the health of the nation, and in doing that, integrity plays a major role in carrying out the mandate. Corruption is not just taking and giving bribe, but it is doing the right thing. The culture of integrity, through being customer-focused and agency-minded, will be strengthened by the activity of the unit to achieve zero tolerance to corruption, amongst others. The culture of integrity, professionalism, and transparency must be built intentionally.
The representative of the NAFDAC Director General, Professor Samson Adebayo, on behalf of NAFDAC, thanks the ICPC team for being present at the induction.
This gift we have for the chairman and for the entire ICPC management. On behalf of the management of NAFDAC, being presented by the Director General of NAFDAC, we have this flag for the entire management of ICPC under the leadership of the chairman. So we say thank you for coming, and we appreciate the collaboration.
NAFDAC and Your Health will be back after the short break. Please stay with us.
Beware. Fake or damaged drugs have put many people in serious health harms and have killed many others. But you can protect yourself by seeking professional healthcare advice when you feel unwell. Buy drugs from only licensed pharmaceutical outlets and make sure you check the packaging for poor condition, spelling errors, and unclear labelings. Also, check NAFDAC registration number, batch number, the expiry date, manufacture date, and manufacturer's address before paying, and always collect a receipt. If you suspect a drug to be fake or damaged, report immediately to NAFDAC on 0800-162-3322 or send an email to sf.alert@nafdac.gov.ng. Protect yourself and your loved ones. This message is brought to you by NAFDAC with support from WHO.
Welcome back. You are still watching NAFDAC and Your Health.
As NAFDAC continues to intensify efforts to curb the proliferation of our society by unwholesome regulated products, and particularly drugs, through various strategies, including educating and sensitizing the public, the agency is equally matching all this with aggressive actions to nip the nefarious activities of the manufacturers and sellers of these products in the bud. This the agency is doing through dogged surveillance, investigation, and enforcement. In its usual drive, the effervescent Special Task Force of the Investigation and Enforcement Unit of NAFDAC swung into action recently as it swooped on a pharmacy in Suleja, the Federal Capital Territory, where unregistered and unapproved drugs, among which are various brands of sex-enhancing drugs, are sold in wholesale.
There was a surveillance conducted by our officers here in Abuja at that particular shop, Suleja, which they discovered they are selling so many unregistered herbal products, and some are even drugs that are synthesized drugs that are not herbal, with pornographic pictures and which are not approved by NAFDAC. They are selling it in bulk, and it's like the person is a dealer, a kind of also, which we believe by tackling the dealers, those that are buying from them, retailers, will not have the source. And you know, that's why we do traceability and get to the root cause. Thank God we have gotten to that root cause, particularly in that particular area. That is what we did at Suleja.
Having gathered intelligence that a pharmaceutical store is the major merchant that distributes the fake and unregistered drugs to many of the hawkers within the Abuja metropolis, the NAFDAC enforcement operatives extended the raid to the commercial area of Mararaba in Abuja, where hawkers and street sellers of the unapproved drugs were found in large numbers.
In the Investigation and Enforcement Unit, we have this raid that we do on monthly basis. Sometimes when the need arises before the end of the month, we still do it twice or three times, it depends. But for this particular one, it's also a surveillance that was conducted by the state, by the Dex officer, Abuja enforcement, at that particular Yenya Maraba. That was why we went there and raided the place. More so, we wanted to confirm if those Baba Aisha that we did recently are still in the market, and also those that are doing the adverts that are not permitted are also doing the same adverts, so that we can raid them and stop them from doing so. That is exactly the reason why we went out today. Most of the drugs are sex enhancers, manpowers. They call them night rocket, black diamond, double rocket, all sorts of names, AK-40, oh you know AK-47 hair, and the rest. All of them are there. and so many herbal preparations that they call manpower, transformer, mebulala, mebushia, and the rest. So all these ones. And for that particular shop alone at Suleja, the drugs found there worth 36 million naira. And for the hawkers, we have like an estimate of like 10 to 11 million naira for the hawkers. You know, drugs are very expensive. You might see small drug, but it's expensive. So for the hawkers, it's about 10 million naira, and for that particular shop, it's about 35 million naira.
Today's exercise was very successful, and I thank God for the support of media too. We've arrested about 5 people today, and we have arrested with confiscated product worth 45 million today. It's a huge success for the agency. Much more for us to signal to the other people out there that want to do the wrong thing. Is a very, very, very successful operation for us. I want to use this media also to call on all well-meaning Nigerians. Please, when you see these people hawking drugs on the street, don't patronize them. If you don't patronize them, they won't have a market to go out there. And we want to also thank God for the support of media. That is why you could see our operation and our enforcement activity has been heightened for very recent.
It's not as if we are just starting now, but recently the thing has gone up. The raid, the extent at which we conduct the raid has gone up because of the support we are getting from the DG and the Director of Enforcement. And I tell you, it's not only on drug that we are going to stop. We are going to go for any regulated product, be it food, drug, cosmetics, medical devices, detergent, even packaged water that is not chemicals that are not approved or that are suspected to be counterfeit. We are still going and we are still doing it, but we are more of drugs now because of the the effects of how drug. A lot of people use this drug on daily basis, though food is also used on daily basis. But drugs, instead of you to get well, it will now aggravate your health issues. So that's exactly why we are concentrating more on the drugs.
That has been our package on this edition of the program. We hope it was very insightful. Join us again, same time, same station next week for another informative and insightful package. If you have questions, reports, or comments that would help NAFDAC in their efforts at safeguarding the health of the nation, please reach out to us. You can reach the legal to import, produce, distribute, market, or sell unwholesome food products, chemicals, cosmetics, and medical equipment. This act puts the health of the public in great danger. Join us to expose the perpetrators of this and eliminate the act. Till we meet again next week, stay safe.
Nigeria has a population of over 200 million people. Out of these, 70% are under 30 and 42% are under the age of 15. No gainsaying that the world keeps advancing in technology. While this has opened more opportunities for genuine businesses to thrive, there's no denying the fact that it has also made young people more vulnerable, especially over the internet. We asked parents in Nigeria how they are able to monitor the activities of their children on their phones.
Good parents would be able to, when you come back at night, you'll be able to go through your child's phone and see whether what the child is watching or searching for is related to what he's supposed to do in school or has to do with or things that has negative influence.
I check their phone most often. Moreover, we built a Christian home where we use the word of God to train them. and then tell them the danger in pornography and other things they do that cannot help their future.
For children that are not up to 18 years, at least to at least an advanced age, we don't need to handle them phone. And if you are giving them phone in order for cartoon sake or whatever, we should monitor what they are doing there. We should check them and see if actually they are playing cartoon or they are doing something, because most of them are too tricky. Because their sense these days now is too much. They will go inside the room and be watching what they are not supposed to watch.
I will advise parents to always check. Even when they are sleeping, just stand up at the middle of the night, go and check their phone. Just let them know that they should not use password that you don't know, so that you can check whatever they do on the phone last. At any time you have access to it, check whatever they are doing on their phone.
My first child is 11 years. The second one is 9 years. So they are not up to the age that can be using phone, so I don't buy phone for them.
For this father, though his children are still very young, he already has a plan on how to protect them in future.
The phone I'm going to buy for them won't be a phone that can contain all these